Audio check. There it goes. Let's keep this chat open. And I apologize for the audio treatments. This is I've done nothing except hang that calendar. That's just not helping much. Let's see. Chat is working, it says. So good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate, participate. And according to Google, happy 14th anniversary to the channel. It started on April 9th of 2009. It's been a long time. All right, so I didn't get as many articles this week as I would prefer. There's a bunch in the phone, and I even had some in the notebook. So I've got the notebook pulled up, and let's get started with those. We've got some tweets to start us off. Let's go with, actually, in addition to tweets, let's see what today's cover was. All right, so today's thumbnail was a meetup where we got to get with one of the Maryland clubs and get to see the Ford Lightning for the first time, I think, last year. Let's go back into the control center. There we go. Man, this echo is intense. I need to get a rug, hang a towel, something. All right, here we go. All right, Timothy says, hello, greetings. Let's see, share screen, share this tab, and we're rocking and rolling. Except that the format is wrong. There we go. Blogger reacts. All right, so Matthew Dunnigan Ryan says, PSA, you're not going to want to do plaid launches when you pull up next to a black Model Y in Makito, Washington. And as we make the picture bigger, you'll see why. As we make the picture bigger, you'll see why. It's a cop car. Funny if that was a Lightning. It looks like a regular F-150. And the ones with the stealth labeling. Got him. I'll have to keep it around here. He says, oh no. Oh, he spelled it wrong. Okay. All we need is robotaxis pulling over people autonomously. I can see it happening. Let's see. All right, so next up, let's go to what we've got next on the threads. Another tweet. Share this tab instead. And it says, news, Ford has withdrawn a petition seeking approval from the U.S. regulators to deploy up to 2,500 self-driving vehicles annually without required human controls, according to a letter made public on Thursday. And Tristan says, wait, the CEO of Ford said you'd be able to sleep driving their new trucks. I guess that's off. This is on the heels of where we talked about they broke up their, what was it called, joint venture. Was it Arco AI? And they weren't going to be doing autonomous cars, or at least not fully autonomous cars anymore, which at the time I questioned, well, if Tesla's got FSD and GM's got Ultra Cruise, and then Waymo and the taxi companies have, fully hands-off, no driver situations, then what is Ford going to do here? The question then becomes, are they going to buy something, or how did they get out of that false advertising situation there? I guess they probably started the meeting same way as Musk and crew do, like, hey, this is forward-looking statements, this is all as of today, blah, blah, blah. Right, let's look into this article now. So, oh, I got to register for writers? I've reached my article limit. Let's try something else. I would just change networks, but then I would lose you guys. So let's see if. Whoops, that's password manager. Let's see if in private mode will fix what we want. And it does, thankfully. Right now, how do I? Oh, I can share this tab instead. All right, let's see. So the petition they filed in July of 21, they've pulled it back because they closed Argo AI. So this is just more fallout from Argo AI. Is what that is. As evidenced by the planned shutdown of our ADS partner, Argo AI, we believe the road to fully autonomous vehicles at scale with a profitable business model will be a long one. Ford said in its 13th February letter, stating that it'd be more prudent to focus on other technologies that do not require an exemption. The NHTSA made this letter public on Thursday when I was moving here, and the number 2 U.S. automaker said on Thursday that the strategic decision to focus partially on automated vehicles made it no longer needed to petition approval. I guess that just means they'll come back later when they figure something out. All right, so let's see. Oh, we got chats. Peace, peace. And Eddie said 2009. I had no idea. Yeah, I got real serious with it in 2018. So 9 years after it started. Okay, so I need to throw this back so I can close the in private tab. And then I've got this email. Stand by. This email is from NHTSA. It says my vehicle may be affected, but I don't have a Model 3. I did buy one for like a brief hot minute. Let's see. And I can't share that screen because it's got all of my information on it. So let's. I want to look through. I want to, copy this recall notice and then search for it because government uses a tracking email provider. So if I click the link, we'll get stuck in a loop. Their results. All right, let's do Model 3. Let's see if I do some words from the document. Actually, sort of from the NHTSA page, realized the. Hello, Robert. Good to see you. So we're gonna go back to the search page you guys are looking at. We'll do it from a news site. I was hoping to do it from the government, but they don't want to be searchable and they want to use a tracking link to get to them, and I don't want to deal with that. Okay, so Tesla Model 3 suspension links might separate from the subframe, which has led to a recall. Hopefully, these people have a link to the article. So Tesla announced a recall of just 422 units of Model 3 produced between January 2018 and March 2019 due to a potential issue with the front suspension lateral link fasteners. And let's see. According to NHA and CSA, front suspension lateral link fasteners in the Tesla Model 3 may loosen over time, allowing the lateral link to separate from the subframe, and this could lead to a shift in the wheel alignment, causing instability and increasing the risk of a collision. Just your mental model of how the car should react has been adjusted on the fly. Uh, Tesla said that if the two fasteners become loose, the driver could notice an abnormal noise coming from the front suspension. They discovered the issue following customer complaints, 25 warranty claims, and 2 filed reports related to Model 3's front suspension lateral link. After investigating further, the automaker found out there was a clear correlation between loose fasteners and production dates, and decided to proceed with a voluntary recall. Up to this point, Tesla's not aware of any crashes caused by this issue, and owners of affected models will be notified by letter and on May 30th. Although they can contact customer service earlier than that, and the EV will be inspected in Tesla service centers, and any missing or loose fasteners will be replaced and or retorqued to correct specifications. Finally, those who have already replaced their lateral link fasteners or other related components at their own expense may be eligible for reimbursement. While the loose fasteners do not sound as frightening or as important as the detachable steering wheels, in certain examples of the Tesla Model Y, a matter that is currently under investigation. Yes, by Tesla and another automaker. Not of the Teslas, but I think it was Nissan. Like somebody else had steering wheels coming off. All right, so there's that. And if this doesn't require the car to get picked up, like lifted, then that's possibly something that the Tesla mobile service can do for you. If they have to pick up the car, they won't. You'll have to go to the service center. And that's not the only recall today. That's just the only one that was hanging out in my email that I didn't want to forget. So we'll close the NHTSA site since they didn't help us today. And then this one I pulled up but didn't actually do anything with. I didn't even read it. It was a video, so I watched it then. Aptera is building one of the most energy-dense battery packs. It's co-developed an insanely efficient powertrain with ELAF wheels. And then people were pontificating on it. With such power density, it makes me wonder if it's possible for there to be a portable battery less than 75 pounds that could bring in with one into the office or hotel room while sleeping and working as if we plug it in to the car. How much kilowatt hours do you think? So that actually could work if you were to make the Aptera compatible with the Gogoro or the Japanese motorcycle consortium mobile packs. And we're just to kind of undock them from the vehicle, take them inside. But at the same time, with the Aptera being a solar vehicle, removing all the batteries is probably not a good idea unless it's nighttime. And while it can do very well on very little electricity, the Gogoro and Japanese consortium probably, well, it's still a motorcycle. It's just a big, heavy one. I don't know. It doesn't seem that it would be the best bet. And since the battery in the Aptera can get up to 85 kilowatt hours, that's going to be a chunky boy. There's really something magical going on here. All right, moving on. So last week, before April Fools, we showed you the spy shots of the Cyber Vault. And it turns out that the Cyber Vault appears to be a safe locker for the mobile connector. I was quite disappointed, but it looks like it's only in China right now, and then maybe they may have accidentally hyped it up a little bit too much. So, Tesla, um, I don't know where they put it. I guess they're Weibo. They put this video out showing you what the Cyber Vault is capable of, how tough it is. Mute this and make it bigger for you. Let's take a look at the Cyber Vault. You got a number dial inside. You saw the mobile connector, and it may come with one at the price they're charging. They plug it into the Chinese Model 3 or Y, and then when they want to go somewhere, they remove the mobile connector from the wall plug and plug in a different one, and then plug the car in wherever they're at their party. So this would be, to me, seems to be a solution for multifamily housing where you do have a place to park that's assigned to you, or at least that has a plug, and then you do also have a problem with people messing with your stuff. So this will keep people from walking away with your mobile charger, unplugging it from the wall, or any number of other just anything that's not physically cutting the cable or something like that. Seems useful, but there was a lot of hype for it, and it's expensive compared to what did they say how much it costs? Let's see. The word tough and electric vehicle charger do not usually go together. Cyberbolt is a charging pile, single phase 220 charging device compatible with all Tesla models, and corresponding charging performance is 32 amps, 7 kilowatts. So again, the mobile connector. The length of the charging cable is 6 meters. That part I'm not sure if that's normally 6 meters or not. Which supports plug-and-play charging, scheduled charging, departure on time, and other charging experiences. So everything the car already supports, because the car controls all of that. There we go, $800. I told you it's expensive, but it's not so bad if it includes the mobile connector and a safe. Let's see. They're talking about how they were saying that those balls that hit it were harkening back to in the Hammer when Franz broke the window on the Cybertruck. What this has to do with Cybertruck, we don't know. Other than the design, obviously. Exactly, that was what I said to him. Timothy, they let us on for 2 weeks for this thing, and it was $800, and it's just a box with a mobile connector, and hopefully it also comes with a mobile connector. Let me see uh, how long the cable is on the mobile connector. They said 6 meters for the vault, right? And charging. Oh wow, the J1772 connector comes in black now, and not just via faceplate change. Let's see. Cable organizer, mobile connector, corded mobile connector. No, we want the regular mobile connector. And 20-foot cable. 20 feet is 6.096 meters. So literally it's the mobile connector in a box. Yay. This would have been one of those drops they could have done like the Kick It beer or the Cybertrucks, the Cyber Christmas sweater. I mean, it's still fun stuff, but but not 3 weeks of hype worth of stuff. Like literally, we've made a box with mobile connector, and hopefully it's included. China only. I mean, yeah, yeah, they were only advertising to Chinese people, but I mean, if I lived in China and you hyped me up for 3 weeks for a box, I would still be disappointed. What's up, Zachary? Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's see. Let's get back onto it now. So Elon was tweeting, and he said that the Cybertruck assembly line feels like the future. He said he spent a couple hours, I believe he said, touring it. Where's the tweet? Do a whole article and you don't put the tweet in it. Well, the whole Cybertruck production line at Giga Texas for several hours earlier today. Gonna be awesome. Feels like the future. And then people are asking questions that he won't answer, like when will the website be updated? It won't, not until it's time to go on sale. And while we're at it, let's see what kind of mess he's gotten himself into. Cool. Even former presidents that are still on Twitter will get an organization badge, just like Elon has one for being with Twitter. He should probably have one for Tesla and SpaceX, but oh well. People making fun of him. He walked into this. All right, James. Good one. Good one. All right, let's go back to see if Elon gave us any news as a main tweet recently. As you can see, I moved back in my house. This is the original studio that we started. We didn't start the live streams here. We started live streams in Virginia, but we started live streaming with. No, we did some live streams here, at least two. But the desk has been rotated from like 90 degrees this way. Oh, Elon says Starship is ready to launch, awaiting regulatory approval. Opening a Megapack factory in Shanghai. All right. So now we have Lathrop and Shanghai. So let's, before we finish with Elon, let's just see what Tesla itself had to say. In for a chance to enter attend our annual shareholder meeting. Big batteries for the win. Australia is quitting coal in record time thanks to Tesla. That's cool. That's one that I've loaded up, the master plan part 3. And then in the app, you'll notice a little spotlight on the what do they call the prize box? Loot box. And when you click on it, they tell you about this photo contest. Send your best Tesla pics for a chance to win 3,500 credits. It can be redeemed to loot box for supercharging, software upgrade, and more. Lifetime running costs of a Tesla are significantly lower than those comparable ICE vehicles due to lower maintenance costs, cheaper electricity, and higher vehicle efficiency. Right. They retweeted Tesla Europe. This is your first AV. Here's a brief intro and ownership. Yeah, so Giga Texas finally hit 4,000 cars per week. After Giga Berlin already hit 4,000 and then 5,000 cars per week. Congrats to them. So let's see when they hit 5,000, hopefully before Giga Berlin hits 6,000. We talked about the numbers because on April 2nd was our show. So let's go back to Elon's tweets. Your kid Santa is real because it's a wholesome story that brings a sense of wonder to the holiday season. I don't plan to do that. Tell your kids Santa is real because lying to your kids is bad and sows seeds of distrust. So then why would you do it? Telling your kids Santa is real is good because they need to learn that authority lies to them and the whole of society is complicit in it. Okay? Santa is real and uses you as his delivery system for presents. Okay? He says, I'm proudly half Canadian, and they kind of did it South Park style there with the community notes and that. You're arguing with strangers on Twitter here. Right. Slight glitch on SpaceX Starlink coming back online now. So this was something that I saw people talking about recently, where there was a Starlink outage caused by expired ground station cert. We're scrubbing the system for other single point failure, single point vulnerabilities now. That's good. I mean, good that they're fixing it and found out. Let's see. So they're talking about large language models. Okay, so they're basically just memeing on like GPT and competitors. Falcon 9 launched Intelsat IS 40E to orbit. Okay, community notes says welcome new languages. That's good. Starship ready to launch next week, pending regulatory approval. I'm excited for this. I wanted to see it in person, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Starship ready for launch, he said. There it is in the chopsticks. It's going to be phenomenal to watch. I'm going to watch it in person, but not this first launch. We saw Falcon Heavy's first launch, and we saw Crew Dragon's first launch in person. Those were fun. All right. I wish the video stopped flattering me all the time. It's a bit much, guys. Yeah, some of them do, and others, I wouldn't call that flattery, Bo. Twitter chance the bird logo to a Doge, as promised. So I've noticed that sometimes, like when the screen is loading, you'll have Shibo, Shibo, you know. That's an old photo. That's an old photo. All right, let's get back into, because it doesn't look like he had anything from when we last online. Next up, we've got ourselves Ford. Ford is on track to build 2 million EVs per year by 2026 to become carbon neutral by 2050, they say. And they say they're already using 60% carbon-free electricity worldwide. I can believe that, or at least with carbon offsets. But they're big enough they probably can get direct carbon-free electricity. So they plan to make 600,000 electric vehicles by the end of the year and more than 2 million by the end of 2026. Its 2023 integrated sustainability and financial report shows. And then Eddie sent us an article that says a couple things about this little goal of theirs. So let's go on over to that now. So GM has overtaken Ford as second bestseller of EVs in the US, but still trails Tesla by a wide margin. So when you see these numbers, you'll understand why I am skeptical of either GM or Ford hitting their 600K units in the available amount of time. So GM is now the second numerous seller of EVs for the first quarter. GM said on Monday it sold 20,670 EVs during the first 3 months. And Ford, which was number 2 last year, reported sales on Tuesday of 10,866 in the same time frame. GM still significantly trails Tesla in EV sales, though both GM and Ford have said they plan to overtake Tesla in EV sales in the years ahead. So they plan to get from 20,000 and 10,000 to 600,000 in under 3 years. I think GM said they want to do it this year. Yeah. So this is just quarter one. Quarter one. 161,630 for Tesla, 20,000 for GM, 14,000 for Hyundai. Oh wow, Ford really dropped. Volkswagen at 14, and then Ford with 10. So let's go somewhere else. And we'll pull up last quarter's report. Then we'll go down to the factory outputs. That's really bad. That's really bad. So they did less this quarter than the Model X and S capacity. So Model S and X are at 100,000 a year. I think that was what, 5,000 a week. 1,000 divided by 100,000 divided by 52. Oh, that's actually down from where they were. They were able to do 2,000 a week, and now they're just under at 1923. All right, and so let's see, how many weeks were in quarter one? $13 weeks in quarter one. So 13 times 2,000. 26,000 Model S and Model X capability, and GM didn't even touch that. It's just one line of one factory of one model. Forget that 3 and Y could do 550 in California, more than 750 in Shanghai, more than 250 in Berlin, Texas. So let's see. Let's do 550. That's 10,000 a week. If I did the number right. And then slightly less at the other factories. Or slightly more at Shanghai in that case. They've got a long way to go for this boastful claim of beating Tesla anytime soon. Tesla said it previously expects to produce 20 million electric vehicles per year by 2030. So, I'd like to see them. I'd like them to show their work. Show your work. How are you going to do this? And as the article is pointing out here, the Chevrolet Bolt, which is where they made most of their vehicles, none of that knowledge transfers to the new Ultium cars because it's different architecture. And during Q1, they sold make up 2 Hummer EVs. 2. In 13 weeks. 2. So, while we're on pontificating on the future and sales and stuff, let's see what Tesla has to say about Master Plan Part 3. Now, all I did was load the article and then shut down all the computers. So, we're looking at this together. I mean, I did see the announcements during Investor Day, but this is the first time looking at this document since it came out very recently. Master Plan Part 3 works by 240 terawatts of storage by completion, 30 terawatts of renewable power, $10 trillion of manufacturing investment, and half the energy required. 0.21% of the land area required, 10% of world GDP, and 0 insurmountable resource challenges. Let's read Part 3. We're providing the U.S. fully electrified demand profile in modeling. U.S. electrified demand profile modeling Part 1 and 2. Oh, these are CSVs. So there's their showing their work, their proofs. Let's put this link in the chat so you guys can see it. Then, I see what happened. It didn't load. There we go. It reloaded in the page I was on. So let's read it. Later. Sustainable energy for all of Earth. That's not quite the way I wanted to do that. Well, I know my scroll keys. Well, I do know my scroll keys, but zoom in didn't do the trick. How do I get that bar back? There it is. All right, so there's a Megapack installation next to a solar farm. 3 pages. So we're gonna skim this, and then I'll read it later. All right, so the executive summary is that on March 1st, Tesla presented Master Plan Part 3, which they did during a 3-hour plus event. They proposed paths to reach sustainable global energy economy through the end use of electrification, sustainable electricity generation and storage. And speaking of, now that we're back in the in the house. We are currently running in the rain and producing 2.39 kilowatts of clean solar power, and not even using a fraction of that, thankfully. And the car, man, the car could charge at 72 amps, so 17 kilowatts. It's like when you're at the supercharger and it's about to kick you off from 0 to full in 4 hours. Not at a supercharger, but in your driveway while you sleep or do whatever. All right, so let's see. The analysis has 3 main components of electricity demand, supply, and material feasibility and investments. Same thing we just read on the other page. The current economy is, and an energy economy is wasteful. Yes, everybody knew that. I love these flow diagrams. This one's even more simplified than the ones we're used to seeing. All right, so global primary energy supply is 165 petawatt hours. Train. Yeah, so Robert was showing me earlier a hybrid train. That's pretty cool. This includes fossil fuel industries, self-consumption during extraction, refining, and transformation losses during electricity generation. Another 27% of 44 petawatts is lost by inefficient end uses, such as ISVs and natural gas furnaces. Total only 36% or 59 petawatt hours of primary energy supply produces useful work or heat for the economy, like intentional heat. Analysis is from Lawrence Livermore National Lab and shows levels of inefficiency for global and U.S. energy supply. All right, so this is global. Yikes. And then I don't know what the US one is, but whatever. An electrified economy, sustainably generated energy, most of the upstream losses associated with mining, refining, and burning fuels to create electricity are eliminated, as are the downstream losses associated with non-electric end uses. Some industrial processes will require more energy input, producing green hydrogen, for example, and some mining and refining activity needs to increase related to metals for batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, etc. Following 6 steps show the actions needed to fully electrify the economy and eliminate fossil fuel use. The 6 steps detail the electricity demand assumptions for the sustainable energy economy and leads to energy demand curve that is modeled. Modeling was done on the U.S. energy economy using high-fidelity data, and that's in the CSVs that they had on the previous page that they linked. The plan considers onshore and offshore wind, solar, existing nuclear, hydro as sustainable energy generation. And yeah, why not? And considers biomass as sustainable, although likely to phase out over time. Oh yeah, because it's work, a lot of work compared to just setting out some capture devices, windmills, solar panels. Additionally, this plan does not address sequestering carbon dioxide emitted over the past century of fossil fuel combustion. Beyond the direct air capture required for synthetic fuel generation, any future implementation of such technologies would likely increase global energy demand. Yeah, because it's not in the model, and it's not easy work. You're gonna have to power them fans and compressors and whatever else technology you're using to sequester the existing carbon. But I like that they considered it a possibility. All right, so repower the grid with renewables. Existing U.S. hourly demand is modeled as an inflexible baseline demand taken from the EIA. 4 U.S. subregions, Texas, Pacific, Midwest, and Eastern, are modeled to account for regional variations in demand, renewable resource availability, weather and grid transmission constraints. The existing electrical demand is the baseline load that must be supported by sustainable generation and storage. That's a given, because if you can't handle the base, then you haven't transitioned. All right, so 65 petawatt hours a year of primary energy is supplied to the electricity sector, including 46 petawatt hours a year of fossil fuels. However, only 26 petawatt hours a year of electricity is produced due to inefficiencies transforming fossil fuels into electricity. So that would be the coal, the natural gas, the propane, whatever. Burning them has more waste heat than useful work or useful heat. If the grid were instead renewably powered, only 26 petawatt hours a year of sustainable generation would be required. And that's still including waste heat, but a lot less of it. All right, so if we switch to EVs, electric vehicles are approximately 4 times more efficient than internal combustion vehicles due to higher powertrain efficiency, regenerative braking, optimized platform design. And the ratio holds true across passenger vehicles, light-duty trucks, and Class 8 semis as shown in Table 1. Now, somebody who already read this pointed out that there's an announcement in here from Tesla. All right, so the ICE average is 24.2 to 115 for EVs, 4.8. Light trucks and vans at 17.5 versus 75 for EVs at 4.3, and Class 8 trucks at 5.3 miles per gallon diesel and 22 miles per gallon for, I'm assuming, Tesla Semi, or an average of all Class 8 trucks at 4.2. And so, a specific example, Tesla Model 3's consumption is 131 mpge versus a Corolla with 34. Yikes. All right, so you've got drive consumption and upstream losses. Just, no. Let's see. I will read this in depth later, but let's look for those. Switch to heat pumps in residential and business and industry. That will help. I'm trying to secure a heat pump clothes dryer right now, and that's proving difficult. And I'm considering switching the instant gas water heater to heat pump, and then definitely when it's time to replace the furnace, that's going heat pump as well. Lawn equipment, everything else is already solar powered. All right, so residential and commercial, summer and winter, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the summer, and from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the winter, but actually a little earlier. All right. Like about how efficient heat pumps are. How to use hydrogen, like so Elon mentioned at the investor day, using hydrogen for high heat. They talk about it there. This will be a fun one on the Tesla Life. So I'll definitely want to read all of it before Patrick explains it to us. So I'll be tracking. Okay, so more about high heat. These are the specific heats needed to reach these materials, I suppose. Oh, high heat storage medium. Yeah, water is really good at it, but graphite and carbon and thermal oil. Molten salt isn't as high as I thought it would be based on that they're using it on several power plants and concrete itself. Manufacture sustainable energy economy, modeling the energy economy. Yeah, the interconnections to and from Texas are pretty weak. All right, so I am looking for the part where they kind of announce their products. Generation technology. Batteries for transportation. So today there are 1.4 billion vehicles globally and annual passenger vehicle production of 85 million vehicles. Based on pack size assumptions, the vehicle fleet will require 112 terawatt hours of batteries. Autonomy has a potential to reduce the global fleet and annual production required through improved vehicle utilization. Yeah, because who will need a new vehicle every year if you just rent one twice a day? Standard range vehicles can utilize lower energy density chemistry, such as lithium iron phosphate, while longer range vehicles require higher energy density, such as high nickel. Uh, Cathode assignment to vehicle segment is listed in the table below. High nickel refers to zero cobalt nickel manganese cathodes currently in production under development at Tesla, Tesla suppliers, and in research groups. So let's see. They call out these vehicle models, of which they have most of them. They have compact. Tesla equivalent is to be determined. Lithium iron phosphate at 53 kilowatt hours. 42 million vehicle sales per year. Global fleet of 686 million. And a fleet required terawatt hours of 36. Mid-size, they have the 3 and the Y. Lithium iron phosphate for the standard range, they've got 75 kilowatt hours of it, and they sell 24 million a year for that segment. The global fleet is 380 million, and they need 28 terawatt hours per year. Commercial vans and passenger vans, so look for that coming soon from Tesla. They're going to need high nickel, and they'll need 100 kilowatt hours for the standard range. They do about 10 million in sales a year, and they have 163 million deployed, and they'll need 16 terawatt hours of storage. Large sedans, SUVs, and trucks. So this is the SX and Cybertruck. They'll need high nickel. Their standard range will have a pack of 100 kilowatt hours, which they do. Because the Model S and the Model X long range have 100 kilowatt hour-ish packs. And so looking at this, I would suspect then the Cybertruck standard range, so either the two-wheel drive or what was the rear-wheel drive, will have 100 kilowatt hour pack. And brings up a question now at launch. The unveiling. The single motor rear wheel drive was 250 plus miles of range, 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and a top speed of 110, starting at 39. So for 250-ish miles, that's actually quite in line with 100 kilowatt hour pack. So a Cybertruck standard, we get less range than the Model X, which gets less range than the Model S, but still above that 220 comfort level that I keep talking about. So the dual motor all-wheel drive was 300 miles of range, which would imply a slightly larger pack. And if they do the 500 miles, that's going to be something else entirely. Right, so global fleet is going to need 15 terawatt hours, and the global fleet is 150 million, and they sell 9 million a year. Bus. Since Tesla's to be determined, I'm curious what they're going to make that on. I'm hoping they make it on the Semi. That one's going to be lithium iron phosphate. And it's got 300 kilowatt hour pack. 1 million vehicle sales per year, and 5 million fleet. You'll need 2 terawatt hours for the bus. So short range and heavy truck is semi-light. Okay, so this is going to be the 300-mile range Tesla Semi with the day cab. So that one's going to have lithium iron phosphate batteries. and it will have a 500 kilowatt hour pack. They'll need 1 million of these per year, and the fleet is 6.7 million. They'll need 3 terawatt hours to sustain that. So here's the interesting part right here. The long-range semi, or long-range heavy truck, is the semi-heavy, which is the one that we've seen over with Pepsi. So that one uses a high nickel pack, and it's got an 800 kilowatt hour pack, which kind of goes in with what Patrick said. Let's see. He published a big batteries article, part 3. But what I was looking for here, let's go back here, and let's do a search for Tesla Semi. I did in chronological order. I went in reverse chronological order. Semi size. This big battery article. Kilowatt hours on a search like that was probably a bad idea. There we go, estimated to be. Right, so Patrick suggested that the Tesla Semi is 914 kilowatt hours usable. And since there is no standard range semi-heavy, folks were predicting like a gigawatt hour of capacity. So that would mean that Tesla has made some efficiencies here to get to 800 kilowatt hours for the Tesla Semi-Heavy. They see 2 million in sales of these per year, and the global fleet is 13.3 million, and they'll need 11 terawatt hours to support that, coming to their total of 112 terawatt hours, with 89 million vehicles produced per year, and a global fleet of 1403 million. All right, so let's see. They got some footnotes here. To approximate battery storage required to displace 100% of road vehicles, global fleet size, pack size in kilowatt hours, global passenger fleet size, and annual production, 85 million vehicles per year, is based on data from the OICA, and the number of vehicles in the segment is estimated based on S&P Global sales data. For buses and trucks, the US to global fleet scaler of 5x is used, as global data was unavailable. That's fair enough. You can refine it as you get there. All right, so they'll need 40 million of large cars and SUVs. They'll need 380 million of mid-sized cars and SUVs, 20 million of trucks and buses, 300 million of trucks and vans, and 700 million of compact, like super compact. What do you call it? What do they call it? Just compact versus mid-sized. All right, so then after you've got your land vehicles covered, you've got ships and planes with 2.1 petawatt hours of annual demand. If ships charge 70 times per year on average and charge to 75% of capacity each time, then 40 terawatt hours of batteries are needed to electrify the ocean fleet. This assumption is 33% of the fleet will require high-density nickel and manganese-based cathodes, and 67% of the fleet will only require lower energy density LFP cathodes. For aviation, if 20% of the 15,000 narrow-body plane fleet is electrified with 7 megawatt-hour packs, then 0.2 terawatt hour, 0.02 terawatt hours of batteries will be required. These are conservative estimates, and likely fewer batteries will be needed. That's what we say here. 40 versus 112. So the ships will require less. Long-range ships will be high nickel. They'll need 12 terawatt hours. Shorter ships, I'm guessing like ferries and stuff, they can use LFPs for 28 terawatt hours. Airplanes, high nickel, O2 for a total of 40. And this one says nickel manganese, so I'm guessing that's like the old Tesla formula versus high nickel, which is the current formula. Table 9 summarizes the generation and storage portfolio needed to meet the global demand. So to repower the existing grid with renewables, you'll need 22.9 batteries, chemical batteries. You'll need 112 terawatts vehicle batteries we discussed, as well as 3.7 terawatt hours of stationary storage. So I guess that's like for the superchargers and stuff. You'll need 6.8 of generation. Let's see here. I 642 terawatt hours of hydrogen, 2.5 terawatts of electrolyzers, 30.3 terawatts of wind and solar. It's bigger. 12.1 terawatts of wind. 18.3 of solar, 41.4 of thermal batteries, 46.2 of stationary batteries, 40 for planes and ships. That just kind of carries down, as does the vehicle batteries. Good evening, Anders. Good to see you. All right, so let's see. Are there any other like revelations in here? Like those future products? I wouldn't say so. I didn't say anything else called out elsewhere. So I'm going to take the time to go through this later, because I think it'll be a good read. And let's go back to, not back to Twitter, I don't think. Yeah, actually back to Twitter. So James Stevenson points out that the Tesla growth story, the trailing 12-month total of global Tesla deliveries from Q1 of 13 to Q1 of 2023 went from 7,700 to 23,000, almost 24,000, 35,000, 55,000, 86,000, 107,000, 278,000, 393,000, 596,000 to 1 million coming in 2022 to 1.5 million in 2023, compared to 10 and 20,000. Oh, look at this. I've got a lunch. All right, so let's make some space for that. This here real quick. Oh yeah, I've got room to eat. Let that cool down a little bit, and then I'll start munching on them. Numbers go up. I assume there was a Tesla Q members everywhere who believed that and tweeted that the growth story was over because Tesla's backlog is gone. And as we see, they're continuing to adjust the level of demand by raising and lowering prices. I don't think I even brought up an article yet about what they did to the prices last week. They're down again. So speaking of being down again, let's exponential. They're real and they're spectacular. But Tesla has no demand. All right, let's see. He's been saying the backlog has gone for years as their rationale for doubting that more people would buy Teslas following year. But every year, more people buy Teslas. So obviously, or maybe not as obviously as I would hope, the backlog wasn't gone. If they sold the cars at a loss, the demand would be much higher too. But nobody would be talking up Tesla's hyper growth if they did that. Yeah, they could sell them at a loss, but then they'd go out of business. Everyone is selling at a loss, which is when they start raising price, like with Ford with the Lightning, which will make Tesla's price even more competitive. Good point. So let's go over here to so all of the car prices dropped recently. So Model 3. They warned you that the tax credit's going away on the 18th. Model 3 starts at. What's up, Lee? Happy Easter. Thank you. 010. Hello, good to see you. And let's see. So Model 3 starts at 41,000 before any shenanery. Model Y. Now it starts at 49.90. And also, this is a dual motor structural pack. You can order them now from Texas. So that starts at 49. And Model S starts at 84 now. It's gone down considerably. And the Plaid is 104. And the Model X Plaid is also 104, but the Model X long range is 94. So it's back under 100 grand for the first time in a while. And the Plaid or performance model is down to a low price for the first time in quite some time. And I thought they were down when I bought mine. This seems really nice. So let's do a search for an article on Tesla price changes for these price changes from one of the Tesla following sites. Let's see. Look at it from other people that don't. Yeah, let's do electric or Teslarati or somebody like that. Somebody's not gonna just freak out because the price has dropped. So Teslarati is showing some models are down over $5,000. It's $5,000 overnight, and so Model 3 came down from 42 to 41, so $1,000. But that model is expected to lose its tax credit. Model Y is now $49.90, as we saw, from $54,990 of what you could order on the website. But the one on the website is down from $54,990 to $52,990. So that's $2,000. The Model S went down to 84, which is $5,000 less from yesterday, which was April 6th. Okay. And then, top comment. Even with increases due to previous price drops, Tesla's unsold inventory is still 2/3 higher this time than last year. Clearly, they've decided these price cuts are necessary to move everything they're producing. Maybe. All right, so the Plaid is reduced to 104 from 130 last year. And then the X is down $5,000 to the 94, which was, and then the Plaid is also down 5,000 to 104,990. And then the comments never seem to work for me, so we won't even bother. So, best in Tesla. We could absolutely catch Tesla, says Mary Barra. GM delivered 2 Hummer EVs in Q1, down from 99 in Q1 of 2022. 968 Lyrics, 19,700 Bolts and Bolt EVs. So after 5 years of production ramp, the Bolt is almost close to 20,000 units a quarter. So the rest of the 20,000 actually came from not Bolts, came from Lyrics and the 2 Hummers. Aiming for 150,000 in 2023. Sorry, not 600,000 in 2023. But still, that's going to be quite a spectacle to get to. So let's see, 150 minus 20. They've only got 130,000 cars to go in 3 more quarters. Tesla will do that in the next 30 days, absolutely. And they are about to catch up, they say. Let's make this bigger. So the 2023 was a breakout year for EVs. GM is on track to build 50,000 EVs in North America through June and double that in the second half. All right, then. And how? And Cadillac Lyric deliveries are accelerating rapidly through 2023, finally. Factory Zero is building and shipping Hummer EV and Hummer EV pickups. Yeah, SUVs and pickups. The Bolt EV and EUV have production of 70,000 units to meet global demand. And more than 500 Bright Drop Zevo 600s at the Cami assembly plant in Ontario in the first quarter. And they added the Pre-Rollator and Rider as customers. All right. Silverado EV work truck deliveries will begin in late spring, and orders for more than 340 fleet customers, a third of which are on the West Coast. And I'm not wanting them to fail. I'm just laughing at the way that they think that they are on track. We need, as we saw from the charts from Master Plan Part 3, we need everybody's participation in this. So I'm not trying to discourage them. I'm just wondering if the numbers they're giving are realistic. They sold 484 times more Lyrics and 9850 more Bolts than Hummer EVs. Those are huge numbers. You need to use the right context. Oh boy. She couldn't catch a Tesla robotaxi. He's also right. You can't catch something that doesn't exist. Yeah, they will, but they're not yet. Not a credible plan, in my opinion. They've been building Lyric for several quarters, and already haven't they? They shipped less than 1,000 last quarter, but between that and Hummer, too. You're joking, right? They need to ship 9,000 to add 20,000 Bolts in Q2 to make up to the 50,000. Yes. So I need 20,000 Bolts in the next 3 months, and then 9,000 of something else to make the 50,000 that they said in that infographic picture we just looked at. And then they need to more than double that from June to December to be on track. Why isn't the SEC investigating these claims? If Musk tweets factually and gets censored by the SEC, Mary can look down the barrel of a TV camera and tell straight-faced lies. The SEC is like crickets. You led, it matters. Mary led. All right, next up. Tesla cuts prices of Model 3 and Y in Australia. Model Y just recently came to the Australian market. Now they're drastically slashing prices. People that took delivery Q4 and Q1 must be thrilled. Yeah, that's true. Others making a move. It was high time. Model 3 standard range is selling for $33,000 in China. Tesla is fleecing all other markets with inflated prices. Possibly. All right. Upcoming supercharger in British Columbia yields new information about V4 capabilities. And we talked about this one on the Tesla Live show this week. Oh, this week past. Either way. They are requesting 12 stalls in the vacant lot across from the street from the Tim Hortons. There's a joke in there about Tim Hortons being everywhere in Canada. They are going for the prefab. So the folks that were complaining the prefab that we looked at recently, how it was V3s, well, they can be V4s too. Anyway, so during the presentation, several details on V4 have been speculated for months were finally confirmed. The Grand Forks Supercharger will be accessible to all Tesla and non-Tesla vehicles because it'll have a Magic Duck. And asked about the existing flow charger in the city and Tesla's potential improvements. He responded by saying that superchargers will be capable of 350 kilowatts, which is up 100 kilowatts from the V3 stations that we have today at 250. And then I speculated on the Tesla Live show that the reason that they don't say megawatt is because there are no cars that can take a megawatt today. There is the Tesla Semi, but it's not in Canada, and it's got the wrong connector currently. And only Pepsi can utilize those at the moment. So we'll see what becomes of Tesla Semi and charging. And that 350 is 7 times faster than the 50 kilowatt flow station. So send all your bolts over there and everything else over to the 350. Well, not just bolts, but all the other 50 kilowatt cars. Tesla's proposal for zoning variance was supported by council, but further considerations must be made before the project can be approved. Once open, the charger will bridge a 219-kilometer gap between Eosus and Castlegar, and it's expected to cost $1.5 million for 12 stations. All right. And then this one Patrick sent me, I still didn't read it yet because I was moving. We both picked it because it said electrify all the things. Our sustainable city, electrify everything. The recharge. Launched by the city of South Portland office, sustainability, September 1st. Electrify everything provides rebates for the purchase of EVs, electric lawn care equipment, e-bikes, heating and cooling systems, home weatherization through March of 2023. They've given out 100,000 rebates with 150,000 still available. So if you're in Oregon and you're part of the city of South Portland, and you're needing or wanting some assistance electrifying all the things, take a look at this article I'm about to paste into the chat and get you some rebates. There we go. That is cool. Next. This is the one I didn't watch the video for yet. See how Rivian prepared for the Rebel Rally with an R1T and an R1S. 2 Rivian vehicles entered the women-only off-road rally last year. This is a short video, which probably is full of music. The Rebel Rally is the first women's off-road navigation rally in the U.S., and it's not a speed event, but rather a waypoint finding affair with a twist, in the sense that no internet-connected devices are allowed for navigation, only paper maps, a compass, and a provided road book. So they clip the internet connection on the truck. The rally runs for 8 days and covers 1,600 miles of tracks, so it's not a walk in the park. It's not the same level as Dakar Rally either. Seeing how stock vehicles are more than welcome to run. All right, let's take a quick look at this video because I'm curious now.
Things can go wrong. Things will go wrong.
Quiet music faded. Oh, no, tempo music starts. Apps. I'm curious what they did about the built-in maps. I mean, just honor system, don't touch it. I'll watch this later, but this paste a link in here for you guys as well. So next up, we gotta go to the phone and get the articles up. Bear with me. Okay, so we talked about GM. This is an important one. Share this to the Mac. Let me close that. To close the article. All right, so the NHTSA has opened an investigation into Tesla crash with a pedestrian in North Carolina. So man is charged after hitting a student getting off a school bus, and so they're alleging that this Tesla was running on some level of automation, either auto steer or FSD, and it went around a school bus and struck a kid. So 2022 Model Y hit a 17-year-old student having exited a school bus in North Carolina last month. According to NHTSA, Tesla's advanced driver systems were believed to be in operation during the North Carolina collision. Reuters reported that the crash occurred on the 15th of March, with the driver being charged by North Carolina State Police for passing a stopped school bus, striking a person, and reckless driving. Now, you're still the driver, and I don't know how infrequently you come across school buses, but you should still know that passing a school bus with the stop signs out is not an appropriate move. And so if your car goes to do that, your job is to hit the brakes. Plain and simple. They've added it to their existing investigation into Tesla's advanced assistance features. Tesla's often cleared in these investigations, most recently in February when it was determined driver error, not Tesla's ADAS, automated driver assist system, were to blame for the death of a couple who rear-ended a fire truck at a Florida rest stop. And we talked about this one. John B. Good says there should be massive penalties for lying in these cases. It seems there's always a liar postponing the inevitable, hoping like hell he'll somehow escape due to a glitch in software or something. Yeah, so Are you talking about the current one in North Carolina, Lee, or the one at the rest stop in Florida? Because that one, the car followed the exits, and then it jumped a curb, and then it ran into the back of a fire truck. Right, and so they're suspecting that something happened to the driver, but either way, by the time the car is running right at the curb, your job is to hit the brake, steer away, do something. Plus, it was doing 60 and a 30, so they should have already been slowing the car down with the cruise control wheels, if not the brake. Same as this guy, once the car is going past the stop school bus with the lights flashing, maybe I'll stop. My car decided the other day that even though the light was red, we weren't going to slow down. There was no notice that it was going to do anything. It saw the light. I didn't see the little chevron saying that it was stopping. So what did I do? I pushed the brake. Problem solved. I loved it. I got your headphones in. You coming on the show today? Or are you just saying hi? Are you just saying hi? Hey, sweetie. Bus driver. Why didn't the driver stop? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what these people are thinking. When you see the car doing something stupid, take over and stop it. Yeah. Hey, baby. I like your little monster outfit. Yeah, you gonna say hi to everybody? Hi, Moto. Hi. You're waving down low where nobody can see your hand. Say hi. Do you hear them? No, you don't hear them? You done with it? You don't want to hear me? Why'd your mommy giving you a cookie to eat in my lap? She knows you're a crumb monster. You gonna put crumbs all over me and melted chocolate. And then she left. Here it is. So yeah, I mean, people always say, "Oh yeah, the car did it," even if the car systems weren't on. But if the car systems are on, it's still on you. All right, so let's see. I guess this might be why Ford got out of the semi-assisted system, because if people are going to be like this with Tesla, that would mean that Ford would be on the hook for non-drivers in situations where they should be drivers. Got another one, also no fun. Hit the button before it actually shows up. There it is. And I'll share this tab instead. You say you always have your foot near the brakes. Amazingly, mine's usually near the accelerator, but I'm always ready for the brake, or the cancel button. Not a button, but on my car it's a lever I push away for autopilot. So this class action alleges that Tesla violated customer privacy, and according to what I've seen, they sure did. Up until 2022, there were cases where some Tesla employees were tapping into and viewing the feeds from not necessarily Sentry Mode, but style of Sentry Mode. Oh yeah, and it's not as as doom and gloom and draconian and spying as the media makes it out to be, but it still wasn't good. So if you haven't authorized them to look through your specific cameras, what they're doing is looking in the anonymous feed where your car doesn't say what car it is, doesn't say who it belongs to, but if you've got the basically like the customer assistance reporting, basically Tesla can make the product better by using the data that your car generates. Uh, there weren't up until that point safeguards on that system to prevent people from looking at the feeds, and so some of the engineers were looking at these empty garages or parking lots. Others saw some things because if the car's in your garage, your garage doesn't have any windows. Who knows what state of presentation you may be in because you're assuming privacy. And let's see what dates those were. Oh yeah, the cookie's that good? You haven't even put it in your mouth. You're just holding it and making crumbs everywhere. I'm about to wash this sweater. All right, jumper, jacket. Doesn't need to wash every day, but no, it will. This is from 2019 to 2022. There were groups of Tesla employees that shared images and videos recorded by customers' car cameras, including highly invasive footage between those dates. So I don't know about highly invasive. It's that there was the expectation for privacy, and it was violated. And yes, it was anonymous, but you weren't expected to have yourself walking out in your robe, grabbing something, be shared across the Tesla Slack or whatever they use for communication teams. Thank you. I'm already eating a burrito. Delicious. You try it. All right, so let's see. Tesla employees access these images and videos for their tasteless and torturous entertainment. Yeah, who owns Tesla's Model Y? Alleges the guy's name is alleges that this conduct was a violation of his family's privacy while protected by the California Constitution. Mm. Wait, ask the court to enjoin or prohibit Tesla from violating customer privacy and to recover actual and punitive damages. Well, they say that they put the controls in place, so at that point, it's just a matter of proving that the controls actually exist. But yes, you would need damages for everybody who was violated before. The question then would be, since Tesla doesn't know who they were, you it'd have to be a class action just like this, and you just pay all the owners. And his concern that his family specifically was violated is not exactly on the level. I mean, his family may have been one of these people, but unless he also worked for Tesla and then saw his garage or his family members running across the screen, then I don't know that he can prove all of that. You want down? Go, Cookie Monster. I need you to get off my cable so I can turn. Move your foot. Move your foot. This foot. Move this foot. Doesn't want to move her foot, but I had it slack underneath the footy pajamas. All right. Let's see what else goes on with this thing here. The lawsuit highlights the importance of privacy in the age of connected cars and everything else. So we saw this with Anchor's Eufy and the preview streams they were setting for their doorbells. And a couple of other companies have done stuff like this as well, where they didn't have appropriate controls or appropriate privacy. Again, still anonymous, and in some of those cases, you had to know the exact address to get into stuff. But you need to take more care and probably probably enlist the services of um, penetration testers and that sort of thing to make sure that your stuff is secure. What are you doing with that movie? I think you should put it down. So Tesla's not yet come into the lawsuit. However, the company has recently stated that it takes privacy seriously, sharing a video and launching a new page on its website to highlight the measures it takes to protect its customer data. I saw somebody outline that site. We covered it when it launched, so let's do this. They got a privacy notice they posted. It was last updated in February of 22. So yeah, we probably looked at it then. But there was like a pictogram or something for that. Yeah. So if that comes across and they ask you to do a lawsuit, that's what that is. Yeah. Speaking of recall and safety and data processing, we've got Cruise has issued a over-the-air recall. I like the way that Drive Tesla calls them OTA recalls, even though everyone else just calls them recalls. This is going to be over all 300 of their robotaxis following a collision with the bus. Was this last week or the week before? We talked about how the Cruise ran into the back of a bus at low speed. Yes, Steve. Yes. Have you found your telegrams? And you're smacking it with a movie? Hmm. All right then. All right, so let's see. No one was injured. The company's taken steps to rectify the problem by in the future by issuing a OTA recall. Cruise has described the incident as a fender bender, but the recall is a necessary step to be transparent with the public and address the issue of articulated buses that behave differently than standard buses in certain situations. Okay, so that makes more sense now to me, that it was an articulated bus. So some folks call them bendy buses. They have the accordion-like material in the middle, and the rear is basically half a bus, and the front is a whole bus. And they don't behave like trailers, and they don't behave like a regular bus. And how I get if this was early on, I get how they weren't aware of this and made the mistake. But these things have been running for a little while, and they only run in pre-mapped areas. How did you not know that articulated buses were in use in your service area? But either way, they're now updating the code to accommodate articulated buses, and they shouldn't make that mistake again. Weird. We quickly determined that the bus's behavior was reasonable and predictable. It pulled out of a lane and of stopped traffic from a bus stop, and then it came to a stop. Although our car did brake in response, it applied the brakes too late and rear-ended the bus at about 10 miles per hour. We identified the root cause, which was a unique error related to predicting the movement of articulated vehicles, i.e. vehicles with two sections connected by a flexible joint, allowing them to bend in the middle, like the bus involved in this incident. Crew said on Friday. Are you typing? What are you typing? Look at you. I don't know what she's typing, but she's a loud typer. The company stated that the software update was completed on the 25th of March, and no other crashes have occurred due to the specific issue. Fender benders rarely happen to our autonomous vehicles, but this incident was unique. We do not expect our vehicles to run into the back of a city bus under any conditions. So even a single incident like this was worthy of an immediate and careful study, says their co-founder and CEO, Kyle Vogt. I have no comments on that one. How can I help you, sweetie? Are you just walking around? She's about to spin me. All right, so we talked about Tesla lower prices. Then I was looking for washer and dryer heat pumps. This one was kind of cool. So this one we learned more about from Green the Only. Let me turn back on Wi-Fi on the phone. I guess I am doing better at this than I thought I was, despite the commotion of the week. So Tesla supplements maps with fleet data between updates. So if you are using the traffic aware cruise control, the auto steer. Hey, baby. What are you doing down there? You found your cookie? Yeah. Anyway, traffic aware cruise control, the auto steer, or FSD beta of any level. When you put in a map destination, the car is going to actually go to the Tesla servers and download more information about your route, which is pretty helpful. So let's go look at what Green has to say about it. Are you typing again? Okay. Okay, so I decided to look into how Tesla does alternate routes. I know it's late. Fully expecting to see they just get a few alternate routes from Google and that's it. But no, there's nothing like it. Instead, they grab a route from Google if online navigation is enabled, and then they feed that into Tesla's Maps service, which is in the cloud, and the Maps service returns possible alternatives deduced by unknown means. But that's not all. A lot more interesting is that in addition to that, they also query the service for what are the parking lot outlines at my location, and hey, for this route I have, what else do I need to know? Look at that smile. You want up? Up the chair. All right, so parking lot locations, parking lot outlines. And what else do I need to know? So basically, if there's like construction, traffic, that's thrown back as well. Please don't push any buttons. A lot more interesting is that in addition to that, they also, oh, sorry. The last part is interesting because, you want to talk? Oh, and then what? My zipper? What's my zipper have to do with it? If I zip it all the way up, I'd be too hot and sweaty. So I've got it halfway. Oh, you want headphones? You put them away. They're right here. Here. There you go. You hear from your headphones now? Let me get these back if you're not going to use them. Oh, you want them on? There you go. There's your headphones. You hear my voice in the headphones? And they're off again. They're not food. You want them on again? Okay. Yeah. Check, check, 1, 2. Oh, okay. You done with them? That's fine. So let's finish talking about how Tesla does navigation, okay? So, corrections like there's a stop sign here, a crosswalk there with great accuracy, as well as other useful information like, I want to block green. Come on, baby. Am I still following? Okay, good. Because the notification's still turned on. I don't know if the notifications are still on. They are. Okay. I didn't even know there was a keyboard shortcut for block. Anyway, so it'll show you the green and yellow paths as far as interesting information like crosswalks, directions of travel, bike lanes. Play with your cookies. I'm on, toddler. Shit like that. When people say my car took the same route as before, but this time it drove better, the map updates like this help immensely, and is probably why. And overall, it seems to be updating certain elements in near real time. This also includes rough patches and such. And I've noticed that sometimes, like if we're in traffic and there's another Tesla in front of me, and I've got the navigation turns on, sometimes it does some stuff you wouldn't expect, except they were talking. Because apparently they are. The car also feeds things like detected speed limits and real-time speeds. Yeah, detected speed limits and real-time speeds. They're in return every 2 minutes or so. It certainly helps keep the maps a lot more current than even regularly updated maps in other cars. Only the relevant sections at that, so it's not wasting data. Basically, it's like Waze, but for autopilot. Here's the output I got for a route from 35.934. Basically, he's giving us the coordinates of where he went and gave the paste bin of the output. Let's take a look. Pages either no longer available or it's expired, removed by its creator, or one of the Facebook staff. Oh well. It says if you pay close attention, a bunch of elements presented list Tesla as the source. So like TomTom or Google or whatever, they're listed as the source of Tesla telemetry. So autopilot 3, begin shape index 21, controlled access is false. The edge ID, the edge shape index, the extended edge info, traffic control info, the offset, and it came from Tesla telemetry, and it's a crosswalk. This one, baby, give me that movie. What am I telling you? Like, You want up? Yeah, you can have up, but you're not touching the keyboard or taking that movie back. All right, so then next up was this one, Autopilot, the 3, shape index, begin 94, controlled access false, edge ID, shape index, also from Tesla telemetry. Oh, and then this tweet was missing by the time I got to the thread. I don't know what was there. Green then says, by the way, I guess the important corollary is that we mostly knew about is that Autopilot performs much better when you have a route set, because if you don't, it does not fetch this information about the route ahead. Keep this in mind with your testing. And that's a good point. Sometimes people will make their videos, they'll just get out and they'll just pull Autopilot without it knowing where to go. And if it doesn't know where to go, it doesn't ask for any of this stuff. Brandon says, fascinating. Do you know of anyone else doing similar? Google and Waze, but in a different mechanism of detection. Do you think they're just calling a Waze service from Tesla Cloud to pull that data and the messaging into Tesla JSON and sending it to the vehicle? No, it says Tesla as the source. It'd say Waze is the source otherwise. Probably the same for parking lot layouts, etc. I'd be surprised if Tesla Cloud is the end source for any of that data. Green says, I don't know what's going on. Those Tesla Cloud servers. So yeah, it's possible that Tesla Cloud did it, but that seems a bit extra. Heck it, let's find out. I heard that might be a little bit illegal, so I'll leave it to people who don't care about those sorts of minor details. Yeah, stay legal and compliant. We like you around us here, not in jail without internet access. I was just kidding. Is Tesla Maps more accurate than Google Maps? Accurate in what sense? I was thinking up to date in terms of road changes and traffic. You want down? Okay, down. You want up? Here's up. You sound tired. You look tired. Here. Oh, you don't want to take a nap? Yeah, she's ready for you. Yeah. Good mama. Don't fall. Don't fall. I'm not holding you. There you go. Okay, back to this. Why can't standard autopilot slow down to appropriate speeds for corners using information like this? Yes. Version 1.3 was slowing down even more than needed, I feel like. Yeah, that's true. Or 11.3. And now they're slowing down before. And they were slowing down before in the past too, using ADAS map tiles documented here on the TMC threads. Okay. Yeah, the turns aren't really. My problem is when it comes up to something where it needs to slow and stop for, like, hey, the light turned red. It does like a rocket burn brake. It's like, yeah, stop now. Unless the person in front of you is slowing at a reasonable level. Is Tesla gathering the data in real time only when autopilot is on? That's a good question. And Green says, I have not tested that actually. Some of it might still be collected even when nav is not in use. Autopilot use is not necessary for this collection. Detecting and warning of police and speed cameras would be handy. Yes, it would. I'd pay for this. Some countries use the local PD as road pirates nearly exclusively. Freaking hate it. And maybe you knew this. Why is my car in the middle of the ocean or miles and miles away from where it is physically located? Every time I get in, for 5+ minutes of driving, it won't update. Something is broken on my GPS localizer. Tesla service says the car is fine. Huh. Depending on where they are, they could be having a lot of like reflections. and the car is just resolving itself as best it can in the wrong place. GPS is just a time signal with a correction factor. So I'm satellite number 24. This is the time. And here's my adjustment. And then when you've got 3, 4, or more of those, you can look up where that satellite should be, where all the others should be, and then triangulate your location based on their time signal. And for Europe, yes. They update stuff quickly, yet it takes 6+ months for new changed roads to appear. Super bizarre. They can't add new edges to the map, only update the properties of existing edges, apparently. Sounds like room for improvement. Still has incorrect lanes on the interstate exchange here that have been here 20+ years, and other incorrect data. Is it possible that this is running in the background, building new maps versus actually in use? Great on paper, but it doesn't explain why. Very poorly on. Often will drop down to 30 to 50 when speed limit is 70 because it seems to read speed limit sign on a feeder road. If the GNS accuracy is not great, maps can't help you much. Maybe this is also why they changed the GNS solution on Harbor 4. Possibly. Does all this logic take place when you do non-autopilot versus navigation? Or is it just when autopilot is engaged? It's a fair question. And Green says it only matters if you have put in a route. Autopilot engaged or not, nothing stops you from enabling it later. Yeah. Use Mapbox for routing. That's for offline in-car routing. And I've seen that a couple times where the car just doesn't have a connection and it's like asks you for the exact address. They still use local Valhalla maps, code from Mapbox for edges and whatnot. It's been no longer available. Did you take it down? Oh, I was pushing the alt button. I had 2 replies, but I don't see them. Europe FSD beta only. Alternative routes are through the same interface, so if you see those, that's definitely in use. Pretty sure it's in Europe too. Okay, so you just need to be on an update that's got the 3 routes, or are there alternative routes? So all of this was just from that quick route that he told us about, from one place to the other place. I think what's this JSON? That's it's pretty cool. Right back. That one that was unavailable was this. Didn't think to click on it. Yeah, I get this a lot too, where it's wrong lane choice, wrong lane type. document data reporting and checking does not mean it's automatically correct. What happens if the map says one thing and vision says another? What does the car trust most? That's a good question as well. Go back. It depends. When vision says all clear, but the map says stop sign, the car trusts the maps. When it's the opposite, the car trusts the vision. Let's see what was next. Ford was next. Let's close this paste bin thing. And Ford says new rules to reduce tax credits on 2 of their EVs. So same as what Tesla was saying on the Model 3 standard range, Ford is saying that 2 of their 3 EVs are subject to this as well. Let's see. After April 18th, of the 3 Fords currently receiving the full credit, only the F-150 Lightning will retain the credit. The Mustang Mach-E and E-Transit commercial van will see their credits drop in half to $3,750. The Ford Escape plug-in hybrid will also qualify for $3,750 credit. So they'll add 1 and take away 2. The stricter EV battery sourcing rules will trigger new requirements for critical minerals and battery components. So at this point, I'm curious, since they're being so short and so strict about it, because remember when we first talked about this, it was supposed to last, give them like a year or so to comply, and instead it was just 3 months to comply. Curious then if we'll see any manufacturers just haul butt to qualify this year, and how they're going to do that. I mean, like the non-standard range Teslas, they qualify, and the Lightning still qualifies, but is it worth the costs incurred to comply now, or if they're just going to keep on with their plan as discussed with the government before the government said, oh, we're going to change it a little bit. We warned you, but we're going to change it a lot more than we expected. I don't know. April 18th, they'll publish a revised list of qualifying models and tax credit amounts on the website, and Tesla is informing prospective buyers that the Model 3 rear-wheel drive will no longer qualify for the full credit on the 18th. Design Studio page, yeah, we looked at that and we saw it today. Let's see what else we pulled up here. So that was Ford. All right, so we got another recall and stop sale notice. That's important. If I click the button, there we go. I'll share this tab instead. So Volkswagen has issued an ID4 stop sale notice and recall because the doors may open while driving. This is important. Even if you're wearing your seatbelt, that's dangerous, but you should be wearing your seatbelt. So Volkswagen issued a stop sale notice and recall on 17,662 ID4 electric SUVs in Canada and US over concerns that the doors may open while driving. They've been posted to the NHTSA website, but no similar notices have been posted to Transport Canada by the time of this publication. According to the stop sale notice, 1455 Canadian vehicles and 16207 US vehicles were built at VW's new facility in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with defective parts, which may have allowed water ingress into the door handles. If this happens, the water can come in contact with the circuit board assembly on the door handle, resulting in the door opening unexpectedly. If it is suspected to high lateral forces at speeds below 15 miles an hour, 15 kilometers an hour or 9 miles an hour, the door will just pop open. It's a little weird that you open your doors that fast. And also kind of cool that if you're going faster that they don't. This obviously puts a person sitting in that seat at risk of injury, as well as increasing the risk of a collision with another vehicle as you drive down the road with a door wide open. VW says the fix is not yet available, but is working to make one available as soon as possible. As a result, they've issued a stop sale notice to their dealers And the issue can be the issue can be identified in vehicles already delivered to customers by listening for a clicking sound similar to that of the door being locked or unlocked, the automaker explained in their notice. After becoming aware of the issue, VW says they found 10 cases of ID4 in vehicles produced in Chattanooga plant, and there was no mention of any known cases of injuries, crashes, or deaths as a result of the issue. You can read the full notice below. Thanks to Automotive News. 15% with a defect. All of them manufactured in... Oh, no, that's the name of they're out of Michigan. Okay. The recall population was determined by production records dating from the start of production on ID4 in Chattanooga until certified parts were received in vehicle production with countermeasures active. Recalled products differ from products that were not included in the recall because they contained certified parts with countermeasures active at the supplier's plant in Mexico, or the vehicles were produced in other production plants with door handles from a different supplier. From March the 3rd of 2022 to March 16th of 2023. So all the cars produced at Chattanooga. Affected vehicles may have been built with door handles that do not meet the factory specifications for protection against water ingress. So they weren't IP67A. An open door on a moving vehicle puts occupants at risk of injury and cause various damage to the objects and people who may be outside the vehicle. Yes. Various quality issues at the supplier may cause the door handles to become susceptible to water ingress, which can impact the printed circuit board. Door handle: left front, left rear, right rear. Outer door handle. It was manufactured in Mexico by Yushin. Discovered in January 23. Reports of alleged door self-opening in Chattanooga produced vehicles in the field. Failed parts were requested to be shipped to Chattanooga. Supplier root cause analysis from the field. It was pretty quick. Just 1 month to figure it out. NHTSA requested a meeting on February 28th. Checking parts in stock at the supplier in production to identify the scope and characteristics of good parts versus bad parts. Presentation at the Volkswagen Product Safety Committee. Topic was presented in the safety committee and a recall was decided. Total known cases produced in the plant, 10. Remedy is to be determined. Volkswagen will not offer a reimbursement plan under this recall. Wow. That's not what you want to hear. We just saw that Tesla did offer a reimbursement plan for their program if you had already fixed the problem. I think they opened themselves up to some litigation with that one. How to remedy the component, how remedy component differs from recall component is to be determined. That's not good. You should already know if you're already putting them in and saying that other ones aren't susceptible. Old new pressure test parameter, robotic replacement of membrane, increased quality controls, inspection at the supplier. And that's the end of that document, and no comments. So next up we've got Tesla leases nearly 150,000 square feet of industrial space in your Fremont factory. And it doesn't say what they're doing with it. This one was pretty cool right here. Let's share this to the screen. Ford is now integrated Tesla superchargers into its trip planner. We saw last week that Rivian had done the same. So if you've got the Magic Dock, then it's showing up in the Ford navigation for where to charge. Pretty cool stuff, and good to see. I was kind of afraid that they would continue their not invented here pretend it doesn't exist. This is really good for the customers. So Ford has added superchargers with match docks to their EV planner, and they're now the second automaker to integrate Tesla supercharger into navigation, following Rivian, which integrated them last month. Not sure if it's been reported yet, but Ford trip plan has been updated to use Magic Dock. Love it. There it is. Boom, baby. From 24 to 3% in 18 minutes. Okay, so this is telling me what it would do. I like that. I like that a lot. Unlike Rivian, which added superchargers to their in-car navigation and mobile app, it appears that Ford has so far only added the mobile app version of the trip planner, as the web-based version does not display the Brewster supercharger online. That's unfortunate. And then they said the Magic Dock's coming to Canada with the V4. And one comment, John says, nice. Taking two spots from Tesla owners, I can F you deal with it. That's the beauty of the V4 supercharger, is that it has a longer cable, and the cable actually starts off on the opposite side. So these folks should only take up one stall instead of two stalls in the future. Talked about Ford slipping in EV sales. This one says to third place, but as we saw, it was more like sixth place. This one's fun. Tesla spotted testing the Cybertruck. Fremont test track. So on the test track, they've got this like bump course inside of the track, and you can see the suspension being tested. Cybertruck can be seen going down 3 separate lanes over bumps of various sizes, shapes, and configurations. I was hoping it said where. There we go. There we go. Take a look at Tesla Cybertruck special channel for the full video. There you can see the rear wheel steering in play. I think it turns better than my Model X for sure. Yeah, it does. Apparently, it still requires the backup maneuver. So that's how it looks over speed bumps, rough road, and this jaggedy mess. Pretty cool stuff. Their suspension standard. They've tested for bottle style racing. Yeah, I remember him saying that. And their suspension is standard on Model X, and now it is on Model S, but not every Model S has it. All right, so next up we've got Tesla building a full-scale internal litigation and trial team. They've got a hiring LinkedIn post. It sounds like the American version of their Chinese FUD fighting force. Say that 3 times fast. Oh, speaking of FSD, I got an update this morning to FSD 11.3.6. I haven't driven anywhere yet, so I'll try it out later today. And FSD beta is rumored to begin testing in China soon. we'll say more as that becomes reality. Tesla's working to add a fourth shift at Giga Berlin. Better watch out, Texas. Ooh, undo. So Cybertruck spy testing on the Fremont test track. So not just next to it, but on the track. Let's share this. This is by caliber 197. And here we can see it on the bump track. There it is with the four-wheel steering engaged. So I guess those longer turns are with it disengaged. That's a much different turning radius than it was showing on the bump track. If they give us the option to enable and disable it. Here we can see it on the track. Looks like the tunnel might be open. Miles per hour. We've previously seen the semi on this track. And there we go. And next up we had, we talked about the Earth Day photos. Got some news about AI, smart switches. Talked about the cyber vaults. Samsung talking about new SSDs. These are old now. About warranties a long time ago. Like 3 weeks now we talked about warranties. So I kind of wish that on the phone here it wouldn't put them at the top and bottom of the list. But at least it doesn't show them in the middle anymore. All right, there we go, there to the bottom now. All right, so Rivian has announced a drop in Q1 production and deliveries, but reaffirms their 2023 guidance. So for Q1, production and delivery were lower than previous quarter. They produced 9,395 vehicles, and they sold 7,946 of those. So just like Tesla, they have to be in the customer's hands before they count. Then we talked about them removing the gear shuttle and camp kitchen. Oh boy. We talked previously about the racial discrimination suit where the employee previously won $137 million from Tesla. That has been adjusted down to $3.2 million. And we'll see what is next for Tesla for that. We talked about Elon touring the Cybertruck. Got a report here. I'll share that to the screen. This is preparing for a cheaper Model Y with 4 million unit annual production capacity, according to a report. Skimmed from Chinese media outlet 36KR. Citing industry insiders with knowledge of the plans, the report claims that the automaker is building an annual capacity as a plan of up to 4 million units for a low-priced small Model Y. Sources said Tesla's still in the early stages of planning, but that production capacity will be spread across factories worldwide, including the newly launched Gigafactory Mexico. So this could be a translation error, and it could be a small SUV in the styling of Model Y, and it could be Model Next, or it could be a lower trim Model Y as well. But that 4 million units is pretty exciting, and we'll see what happens with this, since it is just a rumor. But the rumor lines up with what Tesla's been telling us, so that's a good reason to look at it. Gigafactory Texas increased to 4,000. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Speaking of Sentry Mode and potential misuse, we spoke previously about how Sentry Mode could be illegal in Germany, and not to the point where Tesla needed to do anything to remove it from the car or they were exposed to anything on their end. They're just reminding German customers that there is a legal framework in which you can record the public. So let's see. Tesla will now warn customers in Germany that Sentry Mode may infringe on local data privacy laws. The warning comes after Tesla was sued by consumer group VZ Bravo Victor for not notifying customers or users about the privacy risks. The lawsuit claimed that Tesla misled customers by not informing them in advertising that using the feature in public spaces could lead to filming passersby without their knowledge and violate data protection regulation. And then we also saw that Tesla changed the behavior of Sentry Mode as well. After hearing in Berlin, Tesla issued a cease and desist declaration stating it would no longer advertise that way. And Tesla's manual in Canada and the US states that it's the driver's responsibility to consult and comply with local regulations and property restrictions regarding the use of cameras. So basically the same thing over there. And this is some good news here. So we talked about how Tesla was just hand over fist outselling everybody else's EVs. Well, in Q1, they also installed more DC fast chargers than any other EV charging network. How's about them apples? Let's see what those numbers look like. So Tesla installed the biggest number of DC fast chargers in the United States in this year's first quarter, placing more than 5 times the number of chargers compared to its nearest competitor. According to EV Research EV Adoption, Tesla installed 1,292 DC fast charging ports in the US during the first 3 months of 2023, which equates to a whopping 59% of all DC fast charging port installations. At the same time, Tesla opened 98 new supercharger sites countrywide, averaging more than 1 per day. The next company in the standings was EVgo, which rolled out 250 DC charging ports between January 1st and 31st, while ChargePoint placed just 203. And this is extra important right now because with the IRA program, you're getting money for installing DC fast chargers. So if you want to get all the money before the time runs out or before politics changes further, you need to get your hustle on. With billions of dollars in incentives offered by the federal and state governments for expansion of the EV charging infrastructure, CCS compatibility, blah, blah, blah. Interesting to note that of the 98 stations this year, Tesla only had 10 of them with CCS capability with the Magic Duck. I think that those 10 are just a trial to make sure how it works, how Tesla owners and non-Tesla owners respond, to test the compatibility with the software of the cars, the hardware of the cars, and then we'll see them actually deploy the V4 superchargers with Magic Duck built in. But since V4 is also being tested, why not test them on V3s, since you know how that one behaves? That's just my thoughts on that. Part of the reason Tesla managed to radically outperform its competitors is the company makes prefabricated supercharger units, or PSUs, at Giga Buffalo, and these are fully assembled and come with stalls mounted on a concrete slab and the electrical components prepared for grid connectivity, significantly reducing the time needed for on-site installation. Go figure. All right, let's see what these 10 comments are saying, if they're educated or anti-Elon, anti-Tesla. That lead keeps on growing. This is true. So much for EVgo's Renew program. In my neck of the woods, they just removed one of the few stations in the area, at least two stations within 13 miles. They both only have one CCS and one CHAdeMO, both only 50 kilowatts, charging by the minute anyway. Ugh. Pretty sad. Writing is on the wall, and Tesla's putting all the others to shame. Now, if only they would rapidly expand the magic dock so we can all start road tripping with fewer worries. I like that. Clearly, EVgo is trying to reduce losses by getting rid of some of their older loss makers. They have some older 50 kilowatt one charger sites in my state that would be better if they didn't exist, given the frequency of reported problems. Yeah, but why not replace them with the Renew program, like you said? Nice seeing these Tesla expand. Oh, happy Easter, Mark. Good to see you. Yes, indeed. What must happen, though, is to keep the kilowatt hour charges low and lower charge time. Tesla must develop their own sourcing and volumes to get time. Okay. Relative to the behind the meter comment I made, there's a great backgrounder article. Yeah, but behind the meter, Tesla's got megapacks. I gotta say, Tesla pulled a clever move by saying they would open up one half of superchargers from CCS. They get more paid customers, they get some federal money, and they get some goodwill. But they also maintain a big lead in road charging infrastructure. Since a new Tesla owner can now charge at every supercharger and every CCS charger if they get a cheap adapter. The CCS folks can only charge at CCS chargers and superchargers that have been converted to include the magic dock. Eventually, I suspect the CCS will dominate, but that won't happen for many years at this pace. Why does it matter? The rest of the networks use the same connectors, so all just about CCS cars can connect. It really doesn't matter if each one is smaller when the aggregate is what matters. Yeah, but if the aggregate is smaller, then that's what matters. So even if Tesla's selling more than the rest of them combined, that just means Tesla has better coverage, but you'll need far more. That's what everybody's saying right here, is that they're not keeping up. If Tesla's installing more than them combined is the operative. It's like Tesla sold more than EVgo or sold more than the charge point. Who cares? But if they're putting in more than everybody, then your experience on the non-Next is not so great, is it? Supercharger design is superior to the clunky, over-complex stuff coming out of ABB and others. The V4 Magic Dock is hands down the best thing on the market. Low cost, quick install, highly reliable, wicked fast, and everything you want. You didn't mention the longer cable making it easier to plug in, even if the space is blind. I've been driving non-Tesla for 3 years. I cannot begin to explain how important the charging network is. Yes, Tesla is the only brand that cares about and actually has taken steps to help their customers push EV adoption. Yes. So as I spoke about on the Tesla Live show, my uncle was looking at EVs. He was looking at a non-Tesla and Teslas. And obviously all the Teslas were on the list. And the ones that made the list were Lucid and the Mercedes, the EQS. None of them got it because of the pricing and politics and everything. And one point that came up during the research was that at the time, before the Magic Dock was a thing, only the Tesla had kind of just drop everything in road trip without any future plan or any foresight in your planning. You can't really do that in all of the other EVs. It's getting better, but at the time that they were looking, it left them with, all right, well, just a Tesla. And at the time, the Tesla prices were quite high, and so they decided to repair what they had for another cycle, and then they're going to look again and see what the market looked like at that point. But that point about not being able to just comfortably drop everything into a road trip without sitting down and looking at a map first, it stuck with me, and I'll bring it up again here. All right, so let's see. And that was just another copy of the same article. So with that, I want to thank all of you for your time. I want to thank our channel members and patrons for your financial support. Welcome to the new studio. Hopefully soon I will get some sound treatments in here, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you.